Hello bakers and welcome to Upside Down. Today we are going to be talking a little bit more about how to get very nice and smooth edges and a little bit more details in your low poly models for games. Before jumping into the video, just want to remind you to subscribe so that you don't miss some of the new content. Now let's roll the intro. As I mentioned, today we are going to be checking how to get a little bit better and smoother edges for your assets. So here I have the example that we are going to have a look today. And the first one here, the top of the asset, you can see that we don't have any edges. So without any lights in the scene, you can see that those edges look very harsh, and this is something usually that makes assets look very fake and a little bit more CG. So if you have a little bit more details, so the light catches a little bit nicer those edges, like over here, you can get a very nice result, and your assets are going to look with a higher quality. So how do you get those edges to catch a little bit from the light and have such nice highlights over there? So one way to do is, of course, to do just a simple chamfer. This is something which people have been using for quite a long time and it works quite well, but you don't really get any variation in this highlight. So you can see that we just get a plain highlight, which still does the job if our asset is being seen from distance. But once we get a little bit closer, or if we have a bigger edge over here, this asset is not going to look as nice. And also those plain flat surfaces are going to have not a lot of variation. So how do we fix that? Before continuing the video, I just quickly want to tell you one thing, because at the moment we have a sale on the store, so I'm going to put a link down in the description for all the assets. We have from 50 to 75% discount on all the assets that are being done. So go have a look and grab something before the discount disappears. Here in the scene, I have a third version, which is the one that today we are going to be editing. So first thing, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this box on the top and I'm going to detach it so that we have it as a separate element. And this way it will be just a little bit easier for me to edit and put all the things in place. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to go into edges. I'll just press F4 so we have the edges highlighted, and I'm going to select one of the edges on the sides, then click Alt plus R for a ring selection. We go to connect and I'm going to put two segments, push those segments all the way to the end. So let's say something like this. And then we're going to select the ones on the long side. Again, I'm pressing Alt plus R for ring selection, connect. I'll push them a little bit more. And we do this one more time here on the height. So again, Alt plus R, connect, and I'm going to do it less like this. That's 64, sounds good. So now this is a preparation that usually artists are doing when they're going to be applying smooth, for example, turbo smooth or something like this. These edges are called control edges. So they will help you when you apply a smooth modifier, how exactly all the surfaces are being curved. But in our case, we are going to use it to actually simulate a curve over here, but without having anything. So what we're going to do now, since we have those control edges, I'm going to just click on polygon, then Control A for selecting everything. And we are going to go into the section where it says polygon smoothing groups. Here you can see that we have a couple of different smoothing groups applied. I'm just going to clear everything and I'm going to click on one. This will put everything inside one smoothing group. We are going to click on editable poly, click on the side, and you can see that we have now nice smoothed edges. On some of the places, for example, here, you can see that we have this gradient, which doesn't really look nice. So we always can tweak this. I'm just going to go into edge, select the edge over here. And then if we move it closer, you can see that we control this gradient. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And now we have a little bit nicer result. So you can see that the difference between this one and this one, especially if you're going up close, here we have a little bit more of a variant inside the whole highlight. So it looks smoother, nicer, and it looks like we have a little bit more segments. Of course, we need to be careful when we are doing something like this, because some of the edges, of course, we still don't have any geometry, so they might not look very round and might look very sharp. But for the rest of the surface, you can see that we have a very nice result. And it's better than in here, because here we just have a flat color. Also, as you can see, this works very nice from distance, but it works a little bit better up close. Leave a comment down below if you like this video and if this is something which can be useful for your game. Have in mind that we are adding a little bit more geometry, so if polygons are something that you need to be aware for optimizing your game, I strongly recommend to use either the first method where you don't add any control edges, but if you're looking for some quality and not to add as much geometry as on the last method that we looked today, I will recommend the second version where we just do some chamfers. But if you're doing PC or console games, I would strongly recommend to use the last method, because this way you can squeeze as much as possible in terms of quality from your assets. Thank you for joining me in today's video, subscribe, like this one, and see you next time.